All right, the last matter is Mills versus Mills. My clerk is speaking to me a minute, just a moment. All right, I think I need to address one issue, which is Mr. Mills has filed a notice of disqualification against me after the last hearing. And that doesn't exclude me at this point for two reasons. One is a notice of disqualification needs to be filed before a judicial officer makes a discretionary decision. And I did make discretionary decisions on March 22nd, and the morning of March 29th, the disqualification was filed at 4:30 on March 29th. Secondly, I'm a court commissioner, and the notice of disqualification doesn't apply to commissioners. What Mr. Mills can do at any point, although you have to do it within 10 days of a decision, is you can ask one of the judges or make a motion for a revision, again, within 10 days of a decision. And then one of the judges can review what I've done and determine if I made the right decision. So those are the options that are available for right now. I'm going to remain involved in this case. We're here today for a review by the guardian ad litem. I think it's a preliminary review. Let me hear from Ms. Day, and then I'll go to Ms. Mills and then Mr. Mills for any comments.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
I have had an opportunity to meet with both the parents and do their home visits. I've talked with Ms. Mills' new partner, and I've also talked with the visit supervisor. And so I think things are going along fairly well. In the previous hearing, you had addressed the fees for Ms. Mills, which will be county paid. Mr. Mills has made payment arrangements with me. And so I think that is moving along as appropriately as it could. My recommendation at this time would be to go ahead and move forward with visitation unsupervised under the same one overnight on the weekend as it currently is, but it does not need to be supervised. The visits are going well. There's no outward concerns that I can find. There are lots of allegations in this case, but nothing that I'm able to substantiate that is anything more significant than what we typically see when parties end a long relationship and children are involved. There's no harm to these children. The father's engaged. He's been actively involved. I've been to his home. The home is safe and appropriate. And the visit supervisor expressed no concerns about father having overnights unsupervised. So that would be my request at this point in time, and then I will continue to move forward and hopefully complete my report within the next probably 40 to 60 days at the most.
Ms. Mills, any comment?
Well, I had a few notes for today. The unsupervised is very concerning to me still, even just from, 7 years I've been with this man. I had spoken to Angela, the supervisor, and she said that Sam is so angry. She no longer wants to be the supervisor. And I was going to bring that up at the next hearing, but I figured, today wouldn't hurt to bring it up. She said she has no relationship with him, no conversations outside of the visitation. And I don't really feel like they were really being supervised at her house. She has quite a big property. And I believe most of the time was spent at the back end of the property or away from Angela really supervising aside from meal times. So that's my concern.
All right, thank you.
I also
overnight visits right now are Friday night to Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also would love to see him in anger management. I had spoken to Tina Day about DV counseling, which I think is so important for Samuel moving forward and, future relationships that will involve my children, and a parenting class. I think those things are all very necessary for him.
All right, Mr. Mills, any response?
Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about. I do believe that she isn't after the best interest of the children. Her intent is to make my life as hard as possible. I'm not an angry person. We had a bad relationship. She pushed my buttons, I pushed hers, and it was not a good relationship. But I I don't know what she's talking about with anger and my sister. I'm never angry towards my sister. I'm always very friendly and civil with my sister. I do have a relationship with my sister. I have no idea where she's getting this from. And Rebecca's goal in all this is just to make sure that she can take as much from me as possible, including my children. Like she's walked away, taken my kids, and is planning, she's hoping to leave me with all the debt. She wants me to pay for the car, pay for the insurance, pay for child support. She moved in with her new boyfriend and she doesn't work. There's no reason she can't work. She filed for welfare. And then I have the welfare office coming after me for child support when we had decided to hold off until custody was determined. She is just doing everything in her power to make sure that I'm miserable, regardless of how it affects the children. My supervised visits with the kids and even the phone calls, my kids ask me when they can come home. My last, on not even my last, every time I'm with my kids, my 3-year-old never leaves my side and he constantly says, I love you, I love you. And he was sitting on my lap for 30 minutes and just kept saying, you're my daddy, you're my daddy. They love me. They are of no harm. This, I don't know why she's doing this. I mean, it just seems like her only goal in this is vengeance and just destroying my life, regardless of how it affects our children.
All right.
And as Tina Day discussed with me, is she would attempt to get Rebecca to sign an agreement where I could pick my kids up Friday evening and keep them through Sunday, and then have one night a week during the week to have my kids in the evening, which I want my kids full time, but that's worlds better than these supervised visits. And I want an equal opportunity to prove myself that I can raise my children, and I feel like I've been denied that. I I have filed my response. I refiled my response to her harassment report showing her behaviors towards me. Me and her had agreed to be civil. And then once she finally got moved into her new boyfriend's, that's when she went from being civil with me, which she wasn't even being civil with me. She was messaging me almost daily, telling me every time they had sex, describing it. When she would come over to the house, she would tell me the sexual acts they were doing. And she had sent me pictures of her naked in his bed saying, oh, we just had sex and we're having sex again tonight when he comes home. I have filed this evidence.
Okay. Thank you. I've looked at this case a bit before the hearing today. I made some decisions early on for supervised visits until I could get some feedback from the guardian ad litem. And that was based on what were concerning texts from Mr. Mills to Ms. Mills. But even prior to hearing from the guardian ad litem today, it was clear to me that while Mr. Mills and Ms. Mills were having certain difficulties in their relationship, it does not appear that spills over into either of their relationships with the two boys. And that's confirmed today now by the guardian ad litem, saying that it would be appropriate to go to unsupervised visits. The schedule that Mr. Mills indicated may be one that works down the road in the near future. But for right now, I would like to have unsupervised visits. So that would be from Friday the 14th to Saturday the 15th. I believe it's 6 o'clock when it ends. And then Friday the 21st to Saturday the 22nd, Friday the 28th to Saturday the 29th. And then we will get together again on May 3rd to address a number of financial and other issues. And one of those issues will be, how are those unsupervised visits going? And should it go from Friday to Sunday? And should there be a midweek visit? And everybody can weigh in on that. But for right now, I'm going to order that the current visitation that was supervised just now can be unsupervised and can be at Mr. Mills' house. Okay.
Your Honor, can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
The only reason it was Friday and Saturday was because of my sister's church schedule. Saturday and Sunday would be more ideal for me.
Okay. Ms. Mills, any comment on moving it to Saturday to Sunday?
No, I do think that it will be kind of a shock to go from every other weekend now to every single weekend.
I think I'd
Your
like to
Honor.
do that, though. I think Mr. Mills has spent some time away from his sons, and I think for the next 3 weeks anyway, I'd like to see that. It will be adjusted. I suspect I'm going to make some adjustments on May 3rd, but for the next 3 weeks, I'd like to see every weekend. So Saturday, what was the beginning time should be, let's say 10 o'clock to Sunday at 6. That will then be Saturday, Sunday for the next 3 weeks.
Um,
And
Your Honor.
long term, I don't intend to take the children away from you every weekend, Ms. Mills. I don't think that's appropriate, but I do want Mr. Mills to see them this month. Go ahead.
Can I add? Are we just not going to address anger management, DV counseling? I mean, testing for this. You have seen
That will be addressed by Ms. Day.
I've provided my evidence.
That's her report.
I'm so concerned. I don't feel good about this in the least.
I understand that, but again, Ms. Day is saying,
He's left needles on the floor, Your Honor.
and
Bathroom that my children use.
what I see is that you and Mr. Mills have had a difficult relationship, but I don't think that spills over into either of your relationships with your sons. So,
And I will address those things in my
the
report,
next-
Your Honor, absolutely.
the next 3 weeks, Saturday to Sunday, will be unsupervised with Mr. Mills. Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I just have some things I need to bring up, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't like going through her new boyfriend to talk to my children. I don't think that is right. He's not their father, I'm their father. And I'm okay with a parenting app. I just don't want to go through her boyfriend.
And I would agree, Your Honor, it's more appropriate for them to use like something like Our Family Wizard or some other type of a parenting app when they need to communicate about the children. They should not be really communicating about the other things, and obviously the harassing or inappropriate texting should not be occurring, but it shouldn't be required for him to discuss decisions about the children with mother's newest boyfriend.
Everything is run by me. He's not responding to these on his own. I'm telling him what to say and he's reading the text to me. I would prefer no contact between the two of us. Even on a nap.
I'm gonna leave Robert in place as the person to communicate through until we get to May 3rd, which is our next date together. And then I'll address that in we'll look at how things are going at that point. Okay.
I have just one last thing, Your Honor, that is affecting my current life.
Okay, go ahead.
She still has my Kia, which her boyfriend just bought a new car for her, and the bank restricted my account on Monday because of the delinquent payments. And I need her to make those payments or give the car back.
Ms. Mills, any response?
He's my boyfriend. He bought a vehicle. That's not my vehicle.
Well, it seems to me we have to have one or the other. If you want to keep the Kia, you've got to make the payments.
It's sitting in her lot and she drives the new car.
I thought that we were waiting for financials to hear back on the Kia, was my understanding.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
At the last hearing, I was told that we were waiting on financial information from Samuel Mills to make a decision on the Kia.
I have filed those, Your Honor.
He has always paid for it. I think that he should provide a vehicle for his children. He always has.
The point of this is it's not being used. She has a new vehicle provided to her. And it is affecting my ability to live. I couldn't access my debit card and I had to call the bank and get that restriction lifted. But that's only a temporary lift. I cannot afford that car. If she would like to hang on to that car, I need her to pay for it.
My recollection is we were going to handle this on May 3rd when we got together and dealt with all of the financial issues. So I think I'm going to have to put this over to then. Thank you for bringing it up now. But I'm going to have to make the decision on it on May 3rd. And it will be one of the issues we determine. All right. Anything else? Doesn't sound like it. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Everyone, and we'll see you back here in about 3 weeks. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.